Hey everyone, Egman here with another video, and today we're going to go over the top 16 breakdown for the Gen Con Webcam event that happened this past weekend. 166 players, and this was a best of one event as well, because we did have some best of three events that happened at the actual event too. I don't think I'm going to be able to get any deck lists for that, but I definitely know a lot of content creators were there, so there should be popping, those videos should be popping up on YouTube as well. But specifically for the best of one event, we have a huge variety of leaders and decks. We have 12 different leaders, which is going to be a lot to cover, but we're going to do our best doing it. The first place list was the top four were Yellow Kid Gohan, Reboot Mass Saiyan, Red Yamcha, and Cell Surge. So a real mix up as there. And in general, this is like the first big weekend where not only do we have this new ban list that's in effect, but also we have this new anniversary box come out, so all the cards for that should be legal too. So a mix-up for what we've been seeing in a lot of ways. And in general, I think what's kind of been seen is there are a lot of decks that were still, fairly very good decks, and not necessarily got any big support from the past couple of sets, but more of they've been kind of under the thumb of Black Broly, Red King Piccolo, and everything else for such a long time that they just haven't been able to breathe, and they can't keep up with the pace that those decks could have. So now that those are gone, now that this format is super wide open and what you can do, I think a lot of people are experimenting with a lot of decks, and you'll see on this top 16 there are a lot of leaders and archetypes that are just great, and some of these haven't had any new cards for like the last little bit, and it's fine because they're strong decks. It's just they couldn't breathe anymore with the current environment. So very cool to see. We're gonna go look through all of these as well. Once again, thanks to TAC Games for running and hosting it, and also Mark Hill for getting these deck lists for us. I believe they both gave them to me, but that is really important. I really appreciate getting this knowledge out to you guys, and let's go for it. Also, if you guys don't know, this whole document is in the description below. Most of these have links to deck lists. Some of them are private, and they might change from from the video being made. Also, if you guys have any videos for any of the deck lists, I know a couple people are making their own videos for that, so this will be updated when those get popped out as well, so you'll have a better kind of understanding. I can only explain a deck so well, but I know people who built and ran it will do a way better job than I. But let's just jump on into it. So first we have the first place set from Zhang's Yellow Kid Gohan. I think this deck's been popping up a lot lately, and mostly kind of to fill the power void that was Mecha Frieza. Mecha was so good at what it was doing that I don't know. I think it was tier 1 in a lot of ways, and I don't know if it was worth being banned. We can have this discussion later, but it is banned. It's gone, and so we're just like, well, we have all these good cards with a lot of good support. Let's just put into the next best yellow leader for it, and right now it looks like Son Gohan is in there. And the big reason for this is that it just gains a lot of card advantage, and if you're able to get a lot of card advantage, then you can be greedy with discards for cards like Aegis for Bojack and Bean. You don't really care that you're losing card advantage to activate these cards, and you're more of being able to just capitalize on that and just push on very, very hard. So very strong. I think we've seen this list list like this for a while, especially from Sephiroth himself. So it's not crazy for to see him do so well with this list once again. Nothing too crazy, I would say. Just a lot of good cards. I mean, Yellow's just been getting a lot of good cards. The Yellow-Blue cards specifically as well. We have the Zamasu Champ Pack. We have the Mecha Frieza Champ Pack card. We have the new Yellow-Blue Bojack as well. That can be a free charge later in the game or a free combo as well. So all that's good. And once again, I think this list is strong, and I think it does. It just gets a lot of value and can shut down your opponent, and also be very reactive too, which is crazy. So next up, we have Eric's Masked Saiyan. So this is with the reboot, and if you guys don't know Eric, he's been playing Masked Saiyan for a very, very, very long time, and not just this one, but the old one as well. So not surprised that, one, he's picked up this guy, but he's been trying his best to make it work. Obviously, there's the new Star deck, and it came with a lot of tools, specifically being able to have a better, it's just a better leader, right? It's a modern version of what you want to do. It's burst 3, but you also get to add a card from your life to your hand to do it, so you can get some awakening conditions. It gets critical. It's untap 4, draw 1, untap 1. And then also on the backside, you're able to get another swing with it if you need to, and everything else. It's just very, very good at what it does. It gets some new support, especially with the Unison and Spirit Boost stuff. I think it's honestly one of the best decks that take advantage of the new Spirit Boost mechanics. So I can't speak to any of the individual choices. Some of them are just very obvious. Some of them I don't know. So hopefully Eric makes that list and helps you guys a little bit better on his specific choices. But there's nothing too crazy in here. I guess the craziest thing is that this is his his secret rare. So for 1 at the end of battle, which discards you in a combo from your hand, you play it from your drop area. If you do, choose any number of your opponent's leader cards, battle cards, unit cards equal or to less than their current energy, ignoring barrier, and switch into rest mode. And then it's just a big boy. It's big 40k, I think, is the idea for this. And then also, if you get to turn 4, you can get double strike, dual attack, and everything else. And it can be just like it is played inactive, right? Yeah. So then you can get this guy out, and then you can also get a big blocker as well. So I think it's an interesting choice, but it makes sense too, because once again, it's just a big 40k if you need it to get like a last swing for only 1 energy. So there is that. Next up we have this is Alejandro Torres's. No. Yeah. Alejandro Torres's Red Yamcha. This guy is very, very old. He's a very old leader, but he does have some cool things, especially like some unofficial support, I would say. So when this card attacks, look at the top 2 cards of your deck, add up to 1 red card among them to your hand, then place the remaining cards in your drop area. This gains plus 5k power for the turn. So just being able to like draw, like all your cards in your deck are red except for the Bardock. Also, this is Champa and this is After Image Technique. I don't know why they're not showing up, but they aren't. But this gains plus 5k power for the turn, and then also Awakening is 5 or less. You get to draw 1, untap 1, which is interesting. It's 5 or less. And then same thing, look at top 2 cards from your deck, add it for 1 red, and then place remaining in your drop area. And then if you have a red Unison card in play, when your opponent takes damage from non-keyword skills and battle cards or Unison cards, deal 1 damage to your opponent, then negate the skill for the game. So we've got cards like this where, obviously you can hard cast for 5, and then you can make it so your opponent deals, deal 1 damage to them, which can do some work. But I think the big thing is that you've got this new secret rare. So ultimate dual attack, can't play this card using skills, and if you have 5 or more, it becomes a 5-drop essentially. Can't be removed from battle area by opponent's skills, and then also if your leader card is ready, you can move this card from the game, deal 1 damage to your opponent. So just like this can be a really good finisher. This can do 2 damage when your opponent's not expecting it because of Yamcha's effect, because it's a non-keyword skill there. And then, I don't know, Red's just got a lot of good support, especially like the U7 package. Like this Gohan is very good at what it does. You can play this Son Goku for free, or for 2, but it's just, incredibly powerful for what it does as well. Bulma's always been good. This Yamcha got a reprint, which means he's a little bit easier to get now, because I know he was a hard to get promo for a while. In general, this is just, I don't know, Red's just gotten a lot of generic support that it hasn't in a while, right? This has been a really good year for Red for getting those cards that it needs. And I think going back and looking at, this leader's pretty good. The fact that it looks at top 2 and you get to choose the card is just great. It's such a good draw card, and it's not even restricted to only attacking leaders or anything. I'm surprised this has had like some rogue tops before, but I think it is a good leader to just keep going back to and trying out. So like the list, congrats to the top 2 Alejandro there. Next up we have Danny Wynn's Cell Surge. If you guys have seen my channel, we've seen this list for a while. This list is like, I made this list like a year ago, and I think the only changes to like the idea of it is that this is net new, this is added, and maybe this Rosie, right? Like this list has existed for a long time, and I think it's still great. I think it's a good best of, like, especially for like a best of 1 format. I think the list is very, very good at what it does. Hand destruction can be very oppressive at times, and we do have some like new counters to it, but I don't think a lot of people are I don't think a lot of people are main decking it, and in a best of 1 format it can be great. What else we got? What else do we have? That's pretty much it. It's just, we've seen this Frieza Xeno core in this deck for a long time, and I don't think it's going anywhere specifically anytime soon. So congrats to Danny there. Next up, we've got the Gogeta Unison, Xeno Unison. This deck still just like pops out boys, and I haven't played it myself, but I just know it's very obnoxious to play against. Obviously, this guy is amazing, and there's a reason it's a $100 card, and like it's getting a reprint, which is really great as well. I think the only thing holding this deck back is just how much it dang costs to play optimally. Especially, I don't know how much this Toa costs either. It's been, Supreme Cry of Time, not Toa. It's been going up and down a lot too, so I don't know. I think this is a strong list. This is played by Keith. So congrats for his play there. I haven't seen a lot of decks use this one too, so +1 you can choose one card of your hand to send it to your warp if you draw one, which is kind of nice, being able to get cards to warp, so you can do your Xeno Union Fusion with the cards that are in the warp, which is cool. Other than that, I think this is pretty strong. We've seen this list for a while, and lists like these for a while, and I think, once again, with Broly being gone and Vegeta being neutered like 3 times, I think this is just a strong alternative to that, though expensive. Next up, we've got, let's see, who's next? Jacob's Red Broly. I'll say this. Shenron's Lair has not been updated since June with new cards. So that means, and surprise, this one also is in Shenron's Lair. So assumingly all these cards are the old cards. If there's any changes, I would not know about them. If you do know, let me know in the comments. Maybe this is like the one drop. I guess this has to be Burst Attacks and Gohan. It's surprising that he's in there. But Red Broly was really good for about 3 months in end of last year, and then we got the Red King Piccolo, and that just became better, and then people started playing that instead. So I think it makes sense that now that Red King Piccolo has been a little bit worse, and also Red King Vegeta has also been worse, people keep saying, oh, we have all these cool new tools and everything else, that maybe some other red decks are going to be good, and I think this has just always been a strong deck. Obviously it's a bit sacky, but I think it's strong, and it still has a chance right now, even though it is, I say the only thing wrong with this list is it's just, or not the list, but archetype, is that it's very linear, but other than that, it's very strong. Talking about linear and strong, I guess this is not like super linear, but we do have the Agent Destruction Bobbity, which came out exactly a year ago. This was like the SS4 Bardock of the last year's anniversary box. It has a few new tools. It has strictly the Majin Buu Unison, which is so good. It is very, very, very good. The only thing you can't do with this leader is that, so it's a trade-off, right? So you can play it 1 turn earlier. So for 3, you can choose one unison with Age of Destruction, its card name, from your hand and play it with 3 markers on it. So you can play this for free. Your leader is not blue though, so you can't switch a mono blue energy to active mode. But besides that, you get a 20k blocker double strike for 3. That also has a -1 that you can pop something on your opponent's turn, which is great. You also do have this Bojack Rampaging Agent Destruction as well. So 1, if your later card is in Bojack Brigader, has Agent Destruction as card name. At the end of a battle in which this card is used in a combo from your hand or energy, you can play this card from your drop here in rest mode, and then when this card is KO'd, draw 1. So being able to get this, this can be like a kind of cool floodgate, but other than that, it's pretty strong. But like also being able to run like Super Saiyan God Sealing Trunks in this deck is a nice boon as well. You do kind of have a lot of power, and in general what this deck does is that, and also I think this card's this is searchable too, which is really crazy. But yeah, this whole deck is pretty much being able to play everything like colorless, which is cool, and there's a lot of good effects around them, and you just kind of go from there. So I can't really think of anything. I don't think anything else. This is a surprise choice for me, just because there's not like a whole lot of yellow energy. You have to charge 2 yellow for this guy. But if you're able to play it, it's really nice, because you have to have, if your leader card's yellow or Slug Army, you can discard it to play as Slug Army, which is maybe this dude. So you can't really do that. I guess it's from energy cost of 1, so yeah. So you must have just be charging 2 yellow specifically. It's also interesting to see that we're running specifically this guy as well, but you do get to play him for free and everything else. But I don't know. I hope someone makes a video of this one just to go through your plays a little bit more. Obviously, it's very straightforward, but I would be interested to see how the matches and everything else went. Next is Conans Hatchiac. I think this deck has kind of been theory crafted and played around, specifically since we saw these new 6 drops come out. Just because they're kind of, it's just kind of like, oh, so we're already playing our dudes and we want to do well from there, and so being able to play this is very, very nice. But we also got some new support as like this new 8 drop. This card is just fantastic in the deck. It has triple attack, which is great. It has blocker. When this card attacks, choose 2 cards in your hand. Your opponent chooses 2 cards in their hand and 2 of their battle cards, ignoring barrier, and then sends an artist drop. And at the end of the turn, switches card to active mode. So you get this 35k, and then you get to like destroy like 4 cards of your opponents, which is great. We have Super Saiyan 4 Bardock Spirit Resonant. Also, this card can swing more than once because it gets over these 7 or less. We also have this Bardock. So when you move a marker using this card as Spirit Boost, send to 1 battle card from your opponent's area, drop area to the warp. which I don't think happens, but you can just draw 1 with this card, or -2 until your opponents end turn. They can't attack with battle cards unless they choose 1 card in their hand and send it to their warp every time. So I think that's kind of like, this kind of turns into hand destruction towards the end of it, especially because we do have this Demon Guard Demigra, which you can play with for 2 pretty easily, because Dark Overwhelm with this deck is not hard to do. And then you're just like ripping a card from your opponent's hand every time you swing at this, which is great, and everything else with it. So yeah, this is really like a hand destruction version of the list, which I super duper like, if you know me, and I think it can do very, very well. It's just very obnoxious, like, right, because your opponent can't swing a lot, and they can't use a lot of their skills, and then you can just keep punishing them for playing their dudes and everything. So I like this list. I think it's cool, and honestly, if I was going to play this list, it'd be something like this, because it's hand destruction. You know what I like about that. So congrats to Canner there. Also, thank you for sending me this list. It was privated, and he unprivated for me, so I really appreciate that. Next up is the Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. This was the most represented list in the, or at least leader in the top 16, which is fun to see. Like this was, I will say this in the nicest way, this was almost a joke leader when it came out. It didn't see a lot of play, and just the fact that, you know, it does ramp. It was like the worst version of ramp for a long time, right? We had like objection for a while and a couple other ramp, and like this was like almost like Bandai saying, all right, we will give you ramp, but we're going to make it fit, like the negatives very, very high for it. And then, what is it? Yeah, you're great. Like this card gets great though. So, being able to ramp up your big dudes is great, at what you're doing. Especially this Majin Buu, Solid of the Asian Destructions is, such a boon for this list. It helps you. It's aggressive, it's defensive, it just pretty much does everything. And if you can ramp up to it and get it out a turn earlier, you feel like you win the game. Like I've been playing this list like with SS3 Reboot, being able to get to this 1 turn earlier just feels so good. But we've got pretty much everything we want to see. This is his own version. We've got the other 2 versions is there, and I do want to show that, like, you know, Anthony Hayden is the one who's been who started playing this, and you know, I've seen a lot of people kind of follow his footsteps and seeing like, oh yeah, this is very, very good at what it does. And it just has like a lot of cool cards at what you're doing. Obviously, Aandroidd 17 is a great card. Being able to use Galactic Buster in this deck is fantastic, especially like if you want to make sure that you can, like, you want to make it so your opponent feels very bad about not ramping at all. So like, especially with like Ultra Instinct Goku's Kamehameha, you can just swing in, you become a 25k, and if your opponent doesn't combo out of it, you get a ramp out of it, right? So you either destroy their hand or you can ramp, right? Which is just gross. Other than that, we've just got the standard cards. Just being able to like potentially hard cast this dude by itself is just a silly idea, but it's fantastic. So when this card's activated, choose all your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, place them in their owner's energy in rest mode, and then when your opponent plays a battle card and costs 4 or more, is placed in their owner's energy in rest mode instead. Like just a gross kind of thing going on. But I think this is such a strong list at what it does, and once it starts ramping, you feel like you can't do anything about it, and that's it feels very bad. So there we go there. Next up we have, and so that was Jose Zuinga's. We also do have Carlos's Aandroidd 16. So this is, I think, a standard list. We do get some new support with the list with the new Aandroidd 16 from the super rare from the new set. You can reduce combo costs in your hand by 1 as long as you have a blue-green card in your energy, which you will. You can switch to active mode as blocker. It has a rival for blue or green, and it has a revive for limit 1. And honestly, like, the biggest thing about this is that you just have another card that you can charge for free with your leader, right? Because right now, you know, when this leader came out, you only had 2, right? You only had 8 cards that you could charge for free. Now you have 16 because you have this guy, and you also have the promo that came out as well. So this just gets the consistency of this deck way up at, you know, doing what you want to do. Obviously, it's another deck that can use Majin Buu, and it's a deck that ramps, so that just is great in itself. We do have some cards like this that he added, so draw 2 cards and choose one of your opponent's battle cards and cost 1 to KO it. So I think, like, you know, late game you really need that card draw, because on the backside you do get to do the free combo, but you don't get to do the you don't get to draw cards anymore, which kind of stinks. But I think in general, I think this list is super strong, and it's amazing at what it does. So the next one is who we got. Oh, I really like this list. So we got 2 more lists. I will fix this. Give me a second. All right, Jahel Williams played Majin Vegeta, and we also have Januk Tal after that. But Yeah, I really like this list, and it's because it's a surprise list of it's actually Harugan Chain, and I've seen like this list with a similar idea with the Star Deck Green Broly, but the Vegeta and Bobby makes a lot of sense for this list too, just because it's a card and it's just very aggressive. The fact that you're able to untap 2 energy very early to awaken this guy is great. And it's just, you just want to go up your chain. You just get a lot of card draw at what you're doing, and it's cool. I'm really happy with this list. Did well with it, and it's a really, really cool list in my idea. So you're able to just be really aggressive, and you can get your Broly out really, really easily, especially since this is a leader that you're able to take your own life on the backside as well, if I remember correctly. Yep, you do. So being able to help you get to 1 energy very easily is fantastic. You do get your free cycles, you do get your free Prince of Destruction as well, and yeah, it's a really cool list. I'm happy this one did well. And then lastly, we've got Jonix, his Gotenks, and this is I went back to it and said, there are a lot of lists that have been under the thumb of all the tier 1 decks in the past couple months, and with that thumb now lifted, people are going back to lists like this. Like Gotenks was always very, very good, and the only thing that was stopping it was just literally decks that were slightly better than it and that outpaced it. So now that we're kind of in this new meta and everyone's trying to figure out what's best, we do now, people go back to Gotenks, geez, and I think it is a very strong leader. It just gains a lot of value. It can be very aggressive, and I'm happy it did well. So congrats to Jonic on that as well. And this is all the lists that we're covering today. We made it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you guys think of these lists. I'm probably also going to do some more videos on some stuff competitive going forward. We also do have the Nationals coming up in November, right? Which has been announced since the last time I made a video. So that should be very exciting as well. But that's going to be it for me. Let me know what you guys think of this video, of these top lists, and I'll catch you all next time.